Hello everyone, it's Katrin. You know what? I'm going to put my earplugs in because I truly think it's a little bit of a better sound. Just 1 second. How are you guys doing? It's Wednesday, March 24th. Don't I have this every time? Every time I go live, I have to think about the date. So I hope this sounds a little bit better. Let me just see that I'm live here as well. And I'm using StreamYard. So let me just, I think that's working. I'm live. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it is working. So in case you have any questions, feel free to add them throughout our live today. And actually, today is a little bit different and special because it's one of the things I have not been doing early on in my business, and I wish I would have known much sooner how to actually grow my audience and gain the know, like, and trust factor. Now, the know, like, and trust factor is a really old marketing term, and we have, gosh, I learned that way back then in my business school 20 years ago or so, that customers need to know, like, and trust you in order to buy from you. And that is not so easy anymore to actually do today, especially with the online world. I mean, 20 years ago, I don't know if you still remember, but we were going out to meet people. We shook their hands. We invited them for dinners and lunches and everything else. And that's how we were building the trust factor, especially over time. And that is not happening so much anymore because the online world has become a really crazy environment to stand out. And when we, especially now in COVID times, we don't have the possibility so much right now since over a year to really meet our customers. I remember years ago when I had a different business, I actually was able to go to art markets and meet my customers there. And that is how they got to know me. We went and talked for a little while. They bought something, and then if they liked it, they came back online and bought again. Now that possibility doesn't really exist right now so much, and I think it will be coming back at one point. But in the meanwhile, and no matter even if it comes back, I think we do need to build our audience online. And I think it is a big mistake if we don't move businesses online and start building our audiences there or our customer base. And I wanted to talk, and I've got a little slideshow prepared. I really wanted to talk a little bit about how to do it, and also why and how I did it in my business. And it's not a coffee shop where people come in and get their coffee every day. It is really something very niche we are doing as aromatherapists. And you do consultations, or if you have products, it really doesn't matter if it's a service or a product business. You still need to build this know, like, and trust factor. And just way back then, when I moved to California, just as a little story, I needed a job, and I came from Europe, and I applied. All my skills way back then were marketing as well, but I was still a junior. And so I had an interview with Singapore Airlines, and my English was not quite good back then. So hello, Donna, nice to see you, welcome. So my English wasn't good, but I really wanted this job, and I asked for 65,000 or 65K a year way back then, and that was almost 20 years ago. And then the people were saying is like, well, if we would hire you, we would need to put you into an upper management position. Are you ready for this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then they hired me. And actually, what was happening when I went there, I took my really big fat dictionary book with me. And I was thinking, oh my God, how am I going to make this happen? Because my English is not that good 20 years ago. I came from Germany. I had a heavy German accent, and a lot of words they used in marketing, I used to do everything in German before I had to translate. So I was sitting there and hiding with my dictionary way back then and like looking for the words, what I needed to tell them or say in my emails or anything like this. And at one point, my boss came around and he asked me, he's like, so what are you doing there, Katrin? You know, why do you have such a big fat dictionary sitting here, your Oxford dictionary? And I was saying, well, no, I'm just looking up a few words and, you know, I want to write my email a little bit nicer and more elaborate and so on. So the story is basically for me, I was able to build my credibility in front of my boss, and I was gaining their trust because I was working really hard and I had all of these things to show in my job, what I'm doing and why I want to do a good job and how I'm doing the job, or how I wanted to do it well. So basically the chance to getting to know someone over days and weeks, we don't have anymore. So right now we have to do this in 30 seconds. And that's why it has become so difficult to really do businesses online and to find your customers online. But I'm going to show you in a moment how important it is to really start early on. And Donna, you're online. I got your question here. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read that question just quickly. Donna was writing me because she's just about to finish up or almost finishing up her aromatherapy certification. And she was basically asking me, when do I start to go live or live with my business? When do I start building an audience? I haven't completed or finished my courses yet. So do I start creating social media already? Do I start creating maybe a Facebook site? And I'm confused. And thanks again for doing all this. So Donna, I wanted to specifically go to your question, and then I'm going to go into my little slideshow I have for you guys here today. What I did not do and didn't know way back then is that you should be starting as soon as possible. And I know it is pretty hard, even if you're not finished with your aromatherapy certification. Start something small to get a taste of it. So what I did way back then was just created a Facebook page, but I never went live. I hardly ever posted anything. I didn't know how and what to do really at all with the Facebook page users. And I also, hi Jackie, hello from Canada. I cannot see your name. So sometimes StreamYard, you need to allow StreamYard to show your names, especially if you're calling or seeing or watching this right now from a group. But I think it's Sylvia, maybe, I would believe. So I can maybe see it here on my line. Yeah, Sylvia is from Canada, exactly. And Julie, hello. Yeah, I can see it on my phone, but I cannot see it here on StreamYard I'm using. So going back to Donna's question, so yes, start something and choose between Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest. Don't do it all. Just do one thing and start it early on. And the reason is you have to get a hang of it. Building an audience online takes time, and it's nothing what happens overnight. It's basically you have to build a habit in order for you to show up on a regular basis. And for that reason, do what you can do, because the certification program is already taking time away enough. But on the other hand, I was thinking that at least a lot of times when I finish up my certification, I'm going to start making money. And that is not the reality. The reality is you finish up your certification, then you need to start and find yourself and what you actually want to do. What part of aromatherapy business are you going to do? Are you going to do products? Are you do consultations? Are you going to incorporate maybe this in your massage aromatherapy or massage business, any other therapeutic business you're in? So you have to become really clear what you're going to do. And then also, or maybe you're teaching online courses. So any of this, you will need to find your clients, and and that's only happening over time. And it took me probably a year until I could say, okay, I have found my crowd. And that's why I think it is never too soon to start something like a Facebook page or a Facebook group, or go on Instagram and start posting. And Donna is saying, so essentially I can make a Facebook or Instagram page now and call it Donna's Aromatherapy. Yes, so I would definitely say yes. Start something now if you have the bandwidth. Don't wait. And start getting your feet wet, because it will definitely take your time. And Donna, because you are part of our aromatherapy, of the Blend Precisely group as well, our Blend Precisely app, as you know, we will be starting our business site, the Academy, Blend Precisely Academy, right now at the end of at the end of March, sorry, we're going to have our first goal setting workshop, and then we're going to go into a lot of business learning from next month on. So we will be talking about all of these in depth, much more. So this is going to be like really the top of my list to bring to you as much business learning as possible. And if you're concerned about a name, Donna, I'm just seeing that the name is what I'm concerned about using. I would actually try to see if you research definitely your name first. And you can change it on Facebook. And you obviously don't want to change it when you weigh in. But ask friends, put it out on Facebook, even on your personal page. I'm about to open up my Facebook business page. What do you guys think? Should I name it Donna's Aromatherapy? Should I name it Aromatherapy by Donna, or any of these ones? So I would really come up with 3 or 4 different ways and maybe put a poll out. Do it even in our Aromatherapist in Business group or Blend Precisely group. So I would definitely come up with something you really like and see what others think, and ask the questions away. It's really important. Yeah, and here Jackie is saying, which is a super good point, some people make a case study group while they're in school. And I think that is extremely important that you start doing that as well. So, or using our 2 groups we have, Blend Precisely or Aromatherapists in Business, or then the Academy, we will be having Zoom sessions, we will be having breakout rooms, we will be really able to talk to other people. So it's going to be really a lot of fun for all the Blend Precisely members. Yeah. So even if you're not certified right now, you're doing case studies, you're working on it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I think you should definitely open up something and get going already. And the fact that you're not certified yet, you can always be very honest that you're working on it and that you're finding your way through everything. And I'm coming now to this actually in my slideshow. So let me share my slideshow, and then I come back to the questions afterwards as well. Let me just go ahead, because I think you will find this really useful. All right, just a second. And I think you probably will be seeing a ton of windows right now. And now you should be seeing my little slideshow I prepared for you today. And let me see if you don't see it. All right. I'm going to just wait 1 second, because there's a small tiny delay. And you will see my picture on the side. And here we go. So why is building your aromatherapy business or your audience the know, like, and trust factor? Why is it important to do this really as soon as possible? And I will tell you a few things once we go through the slides. But right now, what we do not have the possibility to do is we cannot go over to our neighbor and say, hello, I'm Donna, and this is what I'm doing. I'm an aromatherapist. If you would like to come over for a tea, why don't you come maybe on Sunday afternoon and we can chat a little bit about aromatherapy? That is not how it works online. It's really difficult. So with your neighbor or with anybody you meet on an art market or in a workshop, you can slowly build your know, like, and trust factor. And why it is important is because at the end, you're a business. So you do want people, obviously, to buy a product or a consultation from you. But nobody is going to buy something if they don't know you in some way, shape, or form. And we're going to go into this right now, how we can build this. So we have to start these relationships, as I mentioned before, really early on. I do believe that as soon as you see like an end at the tunnel, or even midway through your aromatherapy certification, start something on social media. Start collecting ideas. I use Evergreen Note, for example, to just start collecting ideas I could be maybe writing about, or I could be going live about. I have a constant idea folder going for my lives and for my questions I'm getting, and for other ideas. So I think building these relationships as soon as possible is absolutely necessary. Let me just go over here just one tiny second. I'm going to take this one away so you can see everything. Okay, so here we go again. Okay. Okay, let me go back here. So basically, yeah, start this as soon as possible. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure you get the whole screen here. So in our businesses, we have to build a beautiful relationship as soon as possible, as early on as possible. And I would be looking at other businesses a lot in the beginning. I did a ton of research about how I want my Instagram account to look like, Petal and Stem Aromatherapy, how I would like my page to look like, my website as well, which I have with Shopify. So I have everything in different folders, and I've been doing a ton of research already before I even launched my business. So why do we want to have the no factor actually in there? Or how can we build it, basically? So let's just assume there's no neighbor, you don't know anybody. So what you want to do, and Donna, this comes back to your question as well, is you really want to start posting on a regular basis something. Now, we do not need to go into these crazy posting schedule every day, twice a day. I think that is absolutely nuts, and most of us don't have the time. I think the important thing what to do is show up on a regular basis with something. And if it is an Instagram post, if it is an Instagram story, if it is a live, if it is something else, a monthly newsletter, as I mentioned here, people need to get to know you slowly on a regular basis. And before I started doing my lives, I thought I will never ever do live. So I was hiding behind blog posts, and I did a lot of blog writing. And then I had several coaches, and they were pushing obviously towards going live as well. And that's when I started a couple of years ago. I started doing lives as well. And now they have become almost second nature, and I actually really, really love them because I get to see you all. But yeah, so going live is obviously like a really huge factor. And I know when I'm following other people and when I can see their faces every now and then, and if I can, I don't know, see their smile or their hand waves or whatever they do, it feels so much more compelling to me. And it's really nice to connect in that way. But I think it is not necessary to do this right away, although I think you should definitely do it. But doing monthly newsletters is a huge thing. Just sending something monthly of value, not something, but something of value. And for that reason, you, of course, want to get to slowly know your clientele or your audience or your tribe of people. What do they want? And again, asking questions on your Facebook pages or in your Facebook groups is nothing bad. And you see that that some Facebook group owners, they do this actually a lot because they really want to serve to the right degree. And so they are asking a lot of questions. And you can do this in your own groups as well. What do you guys actually want to see from me? Would you like to talk about anxiety, about stress, about oils, about Latin names, about hydrosols, carrier oils, whatnot else? And you can then gather the information and bring it to them. So I think that is something really important, that we deliver something on a regular basis. This is how we can build our no factor in that case. Okay, the like factor, that is something way back then, I don't know, and it's still going on sometimes, but not as much as anymore. Be all you. all the way. And I think that is something so important, especially when you're showing up live. I remember when I was videotaping my first course. Oh my God, I was so very stiff there. I was just like in a beautiful outfit and makeup was perfect and the hair was done perfect. And I was, I think, talking like I had a stick stuck up my butt. Can you say that? Probably not. Anyway, so I was really stiff. So now more and more, especially because of COVID times, you will see much more real life pictures behind the scenes, who you are, telling personal stories and everything like this. So if I were to come online only posting something about an oil, I mean, you can find that pretty much everywhere. But bringing you to the table, that is a huge plus. That is a little bit like shaking the neighbor's hand, and again, we can't do this online, but it is really important that we find our way to our virtual neighbor, basically. So that's what I mentioned here, create a virtual neighborhood. Think about what you like about certain mentors and people you're following and find their way in you. So what I mean by that is basically you admire probably someone. You have a mentor or you have someone you feel like, oh, that person feels really nice and warm. How can I incorporate this in my lives or in my writings, newsletter writings? You don't want to have the newsletter being all stiff. You want your voice to come through. Ask your friends what they like about you and build this further out in your communications. I did that with one of my mentors, actually. She said, just go to all your friends, especially when you're really, really early in your business, or you don't even have a business, you don't have necessarily clients to talk to, or they will not tell you because you don't have clients yet. But what you can do is find a few friends which will be honest with you, and they will tell you what are the positive sides about you. Are you maybe a really warm person? Are you a good listener? Are you able to have really good feedback at all times? And incorporate this into your business as well. That is something really nice to do, and good friends will let you know what they like about you. And maybe also get to know what they don't like so much, or where you're missing. I know in the very beginning when I started my business, my ex-husband way back then was always saying, Katrin, you need to focus. You're not focused. You're like all over the place. And obviously, as a creative person, I don't want to hear that, because I really like to be creative. And with creativity comes craziness. But the truth is, I do need to focus, and everybody needs to focus. We all need to have our one thing to focus on, and that is mostly growing our businesses. So how would you like to talk to someone if you invite them over for a tea? Imagine that. So if you invite your neighbor over, are you going to sit all stiff there, or are you just going to be you? Because at the end of the day, you do not want people in your group or on your page or as a customer where you do not have the connection with them. So you do want to connect to the person you're actually serving in some way, shape, or form. And of course, we have sometimes like, borderline personalities or anything else. But on the other hand, they make us stronger. But actually what we want in our business is people we can connect with, because it is not so much about the amount of people we have, but it's about the quality we build. And we don't want every neighbor maybe to come to our party. We really want to have a selected group of people coming to us with whom we connect. And I think that is really important, especially when we go live or we are building our groups or something else, because they might become your biggest cheerleaders. So keep that in mind as well, and show them that you are just a person and you make mistakes. And I think a few weeks ago I had a really bad migraine, but I still wanted to come online and meet you all. But I mentioned that it's just like, man, I'm not feeling so good right now, but I'm here and I want to show up, and this is who I am, and that happens. And I think another day we had the children here, and it was just like all crazy, the dogs barking, the cats meowing, and that's all okay, I think, because it is just you. You're not überhuman. You're not a super powered woman or a Tesla or whatever you want to call that. You're just a person, and that's all it needs in your business. Okay, so how can we now build the trust factor? And that is something I think which comes over time and which is really important to build at all times, is from early on, try to show up when you say you will show up. Try to be there when somebody needs an ear more than just a consultation about an anxiety blend. Often this comes, and I put 45 minutes at least actually into my consultations. Often it does come with more background information. So I think if we create, and I think I mentioned it here, this invisible touch over Skype, over the phone, over Zoom, then we will be able to serve much better. So it's not just about, hey, you bought a consultation, now we're gonna just go straight to what your problem is, and then I'm gonna send you the blend. And that's what aromatherapy anyway is not about. Aromatherapy is so much about beauty and touch and love and warmth and everything else. So I truly believe that it's important to lend someone an ear when they need it. And if it is through email or during the consultation, or make it a two-way street. And this is something I mentioned down here as well. Involve them in your questions, ask them what they would like to see, ask them what they don't like so much, how can we make things better. So it's really how you can build trust is communication, communicating to them and making it a two-way street. I personally started really to start creating science-backed up blends, meaning that I can always follow up with something I have been reading, or I can link to important scientific reports or something else. So my blending takes quite a while, and I go through a process, and I often really make sure that I can find science behind everything I'm blending. And that is not only to gain trust, but that is also for me to really feel comfortable in what I'm doing and in what I'm creating for my clients. So this point, always under promise and over deliver, make it a habit. This is something I learned really, really early on with my German education. What you do not want to do is, oh, sure, I'm going to get it to you within 12 hours and no problem, and then you don't show up. That is not how business works. That's not how an online business can be built. So I always make it a point to give ample time, or to say really how it is. And then if they don't like it, well, they can go somewhere else. But for me, it is important that I don't get stressed out. And I did that in the very beginning sometimes because I really wanted to have a client or 10 clients or 20 clients. But you will soon see that you can burn yourself out with stretching yourself too thin. So making it a habit, a little bit of under promising but over delivering, I think is a really good trust builder. And then, of course, always do what you told them you would do. If you tell them you're going to send them a sample, send them a sample. Don't forget about it. If you tell them you will be following up in 2 weeks, put it on your calendar. Follow up in 2 weeks. Really important. When you're creating, for example, a newsletter, I would always go for quality over quantity. And again, and that's the same for social media posts. You don't need to post 30 to 40 different posts a week. In fact, I tried that and I completely burned out. I've got 9 social media accounts, so I cannot even do that anymore. But delivering quality is so much more important than quantity. And I think everybody would agree with that. Over time, you will get reviews and testimonials. Because it is an online business, you really need to have super good testimonials and reviews and have them come in. So what I'm doing is, for example, whenever somebody writes something nice about Blend Precisely or my products or anything really, I take a screenshot and save it in one of my review folders. And that will serve you maybe really well down the road, because you have to build a trust factor based on somebody not knowing you. And reviews and testimonials help you big times with it. So if you have, for example, a website, and I'm going to show you in a moment mine, if you have a website and you have a review section or a testimonial section, it really helps to sell the product. And it doesn't need to be a ton of reviews, but it needs to be some which will help for people when they come to your website and see, it's like, oh, you know, she's got 20 really nice reviews, so I'm gonna try maybe booking a consultation with her or buying a product from her. So reviews are really something nice to have. And here it is. Why testimonials? Social proof. People want and need to trust you. Collect them early on and show them everywhere. How else should they get to know you? And that is something I would rather have, of course, you know, that I can give a little gift to someone and say, oh, thank you so much. But that's not how it works if somebody lives 24 hours away from you. And often you will get an email, or you will have like a really nice post on Facebook or in your Facebook group. And this makes your day so much. It makes so much my day. When I get a really nice review somewhere, I'm so happy about that, because all it matters to me is that I get one person a day happy. And that is just really, really nice. But collect them, because you worked really hard for what you're doing. So I think testimonials and reviews belong onto your sales page, onto your website, maybe even sometimes printed when you send like a little note card to your customers with your shipment, see what others have to say, and so on. So definitely go all the way in with the reviews. And let me just see quickly. Yeah, so that's basically it for today. I'm gonna go back if there are any questions, maybe. Thank you so much for watching this here. And let me stop sharing, going out here. Okay, so let me quickly see. I'm not certified. Exactly, is watching. Interesting. Okay, good. So basically, yeah, so if you're watching this in a replay, that's probably and hopefully helpful as well. But I do believe, just on it says new comments, but they don't show up here. Technical issues, this is how it is, right? I don't know, they're not coming in here right now, but okay. Donna, is that a review? You know, this is really what makes my world go around, and that it's something you can then give back to others as well. It's just really, I think, if we continue to mean well and be good and not, obviously we all need to make a living, but there's like a fine line to walk, and you can only make a living if you feel like you're giving something back, I believe, to the world, and have something like a purpose. And you know, my purpose is really genuinely to help and also to promote others, and that's why I'm doing interviews as well. And I want aromatherapists to stay in business, be in business, stay in business, and continue to grow their business. And I think it is already difficult as it is, but as a community, I truly believe we can bring us forward and create our next steps in our business. So with anything, exactly my feelings too, Donna says. So yeah, with anything we can do to help you, it's always good if you can just send us a quick note or a Q&A, or send an email to hello@blendprecisely.io. If yes, oh, I wanted to quickly show you how I collect my So let me just share one more time. Let's see. Let me share one more time how it looks on share screen. Okay, how my reviews look like. So I'm using Kudo Buzz, and that is one of my courses I have. It's a diffuser kit course, and then you can see the reviews down here below. And this is like just something which is super helpful for others to obviously see. And then here on the left-hand side, I've got reviews also coming up, and they go down, and I'm trying to always go for 5-star reviews, obviously, because I just like happy customers. So this here, if somebody comes to my website right now, they actually can see what people have been buying and what they liked about it, and so on. So I think reviews are super helpful. This one is Kudo Buzz. I put this into my, I actually put this one into my website. It's like an add-on on my website, and you can then go ahead and showcase that. I've got testimonials here one more time as well. People can go through and so on. So I have a whole system going with reviews, and wherever you are, I think even on the blendprecisely.io site, I've got my reviews going as well. So it's important to have reviews and testimonials, because it warms people's heart, and it makes people just purchase from you, maybe more likely to purchase from you than not having anything on your site. So that's just my 2 cents. So if that would be me, Jackie says, laughing out loud. That must have been to a comment. So if there are no more questions right now, and again, you can always send me questions later on, I'm happy to answer them. Other than this, I just wanted to go one more time over. So the know, like, and trust factor, it really helps you to start early, build your relationship with potential clients, and then also put testimonials and reviews wherever you find them, collect them, and use them. And we will learn more about testimonial writing and everything else as well in our Blend Precisely Academy. And then the other thing is, just one more time, everybody who is currently part of Blend Precisely will receive at the end of the week an invitation to our goal setting workshop, which is happening on March 30th. I'm always in April already, March 30th. And we will basically meet up on Zoom, and you will get a workbook, and we will, for the first time, do our goal setting workshop together for April. And really, it doesn't matter if you're in business, if you're just doing an aromatherapy certification, if you're ending there, if you're starting it, it doesn't matter, because the goal settings are for the entire month of April, and it's really good to get into a habit of goal setting anyway. So, and we can get to know each other a little bit more. So if you have time, next Tuesday, the 30th, and it's the same time, 5 p.m., and I believe for you it will be still, oh no, this week we will be changing our time. So it will be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern Time, and then 5 p.m. here for London, Lisbon. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. Yes, this is the Petal and Stem website. Yeah, that's the one I created a few years back now. And I started out actually sewing essential oil bags before I did my certification. My goodness, that's quite a while ago, 8 years ago. And I sold essential oil bags because I studied pattern design and seamstress and everything else. So I've got my sewing machine down as well downstairs, and I'm still sewing bags. And then I added my essential oils and the certification, and then courses and everything else. So and then Blend Precisely, our app. So it's been a long way, and nothing happens overnight, but I think important is that we have to stick to something. And even if we want to change our idea today and maybe do something different next year, you most likely will encounter that. That's okay. But as long as we stick and keep on going, I think that's so important. So Donna, next week will be, I would imagine you probably mean the live, or do you mean the goal setting workshop? The goal setting workshop will be at noon, your time. I believe, I don't know, New York time noon. So I'm not sure which time zone you're in. So it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon New York, Eastern Standard Time. And then here for Europe, it will be 5 p.m. If I do my own distillation, yes, I actually do my own hydrosols, and then I scoop off whatever I have for essential oils. But we have helichrysum growing out here. We have labdanum. We have eucalyptus, tons and tons. And I do my own hydrosols. And then whatever oil comes out of it, I don't do big batch productions, but I love to do my own ones for my lotion making and cosmetic formulations. So I do my own distillations as well. Yeah, so I'm in New York time. Okay, so Donna, if you're in New York time, then again, you will also receive an email and an invitation. It will be noon New York time next week. Both of them, the live as well as the goal setting workshop. So yeah, so that's it. Wow, you're so lucky. Yeah, I am lucky in terms of Sylvia. That was you. I'm really lucky. Helichrysum is, as we know, extremely expensive, and we live along the coast here in Portugal, and it grows wild there, and it's just so beautiful. Yeah, so I do helichrysum as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. Donna, you love helichrysum. Yes, exactly, Donna. So thank you so very much for staying with me today. It was a little bit longer, but I hope it was a little bit helpful as well. And if you have questions, let me know. Other than this, I wish you a really beautiful Wednesday and rest of your day. And then I will see you all Blend Precisely users next week, hopefully in the goal setting workshop. And then our next live next Wednesday. All right. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.